welcome to another installment of the Fragments Silicon Reviews. Apologies about the late start. Teddy Fan here got stuck, the tiebreaker card game?
Yep.
You said? Did you win?
Sadly, no. I got second.
Anyway, 4 games up this week. The first of which is Chromatic Fantasy. Right, so Chromatic Fantasy postulates a lot about colored dragons. That is where the chromatic and the fantasy comes from. Though these dragons are not evil, in defiance of AD&D law.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, do they still do that in the later editions? Remember the chromatic dragon.
Chromatic dragons tend to be evil, metallic dragons tend to be good, but there are other dragons that are neither of those. Right,
I just remember the main thing was chromatic dragons are evil, metallic dragons good for whatever fucking reason.
That's still a thing, if only because Bahamut and Tiamat are very popular.
I guess don't knock a good thing. But yeah, this has nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons, at least not the tabletop game, even though it's a game literally about Dungeons and Dragons. Weird how these things work. And this is any sort of role-playing game or high fantasy adventure. It's a puzzle game. A specific type of puzzle game at that. You've probably seen this puzzle type in a Legend of Zelda game. I know it's shown up in a few. Or the It'll Do series. They like this kind of puzzle game. Even though it's with dragons instead of blocks and ice, it's a sliding block puzzle game. That's what it basically equivalates out to. You can see Petty pushing the dragons, and they move like piles on ice. It's all the way until it gets stopped by something. And yeah, that is the basics of this game. I am pleased to say that it's not just the everything of this game, just the most of it. Because I'll say right now, if you don't like this kind of puzzle type, don't bother, because it's all sliding dragons. And for the record, I don't really care for this puzzle type. It's not bad, but it's certainly not anything that would ever keep me interested for a whole game. It definitely works, personal opinion, it definitely works better as a puzzle type in a much bigger game than as, an entire pack of this one level. But to get around to the chromatic side of things, all your dragons are a certain color, and that affects, a bunch of things. Like here, Petty is in a level which is kind of showcasing the gate system, because later on there are colored gates, and guess what? If you're not that color, you can't get through that gate. Yeah, you have to colorize either the gate or the dragon. Same with the portals. You have to get the dragon into the properly colored portal. There are other things.
So can you paint the dragons, or does it swap the dragon out for a different dragon?
No, you can paint the dragons, and that's kind of important because, I think it's next level. It's going to start introducing more dragons. It's not just, the next one up is 2 dragons. Also, there's a bit of a skill system here. It does keep track of the amount of moves you make, and you do have to get a certain amount of silver stars to get to the next tier. So yeah, I will say none of it's timed, so you can take as long as you want to figure things out, but you're probably going to end up playing a board at least a few times to, first of all, figure out the puzzle, and then to optimize.
When you get a paint, do you have a limited amount of paint?
I don't think so.
Okay, I was just curious because the pot goes over to the side and then it didn't look like it was going down. So
I honestly don't know. I got stuck on the next level here because also I'm not too good at this kind of puzzle. Like, I really don't have the patience for it because here it's the inherent problem I run into in this puzzle type. It's you got to use something to block the movement, and working that out just doesn't interest me. Yeah, like, see, Petty got the red dragon in well enough, but okay, how do you get the yellow dragon? By the way, you have
do you need to use the red dragon as a bounce off pad?
Possibly, or the other dragon. You have to use one of the other dragons to block, and I didn't have the patience to do that. Now, I will freely admit that. It's just, this isn't a very hard game to understand, and what it does fairly well. It's just it's by its own talking points, it's fairly difficult.
Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, there are other not traps, but implements. Let's say, like there, like portals will be coming up, and bounce pads, trampolines, if you will. Things that will further complicate the puzzle, and you're going to get even more dragons. Now, like, I'm not sure how many dragons they like. I've seen like at least four layers of dragons. So this shit's going to get. This is the part I got stuck on. I couldn't get the other dragon to the other portal. So, like I said, I will freely admit not too good at this particular brand of puzzle, but objectively speaking, it's perfectly functional. In terms of production values, it gets the job done. I'll admit the art isn't great or anything. In fact, it looks kind of bad. Like, at least like the actual dragons in the portrait looks not good. Now, like the actual dragons on the screen, they look fine. And it's got jaunty fantasy music to go along with it. I guess it's going for relaxing, but I'd hesitate to call this. I hesitate to call puzzle games relaxing because they can go from that fine line to infuriating very quickly. And really, I think the difficulty spike is the biggest thing against this game because, like, you can see the problems Betty Fan is running into here, which, let's face it, it's going to be the problems that an average player is going to run into. I don't think anyone here is especially skilled at figuring out puzzles.
Yeah, I've been trying, and this one is tricky.
Yeah. And once again, like, this is level 4.
Oh, down, left, up, right, up.
Yeah.
It's misleading because of how many spaces it looks like it has, I think.
Like I said, there's nothing bad about this. Yeah, you can't do up.
Oh, there is no up there? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Petty's also got to get get the silver stars. Oh, and you'll note the counters here. Gold stars is 22. Silver stars is 30. Once again, this is level 4. This is the level that they're working you on near the beginning of the game. So I'd say that's the biggest drawback here. you're shown the basics, and then you are thrown into a fairly hard puzzle for level 4. Like, this feels like, even with 2 dragons, this feels like it should be next tier. Like, especially since this is supposed to teach you about how to use 2 dragons in tandem with each other. So that's where I would disparage the game. Everything else, it's fine in terms of mechanics. Its aesthetics a bit questionable. But yeah, overall, it's solid. And let's see. I think the other big problem I had with this game is its pricing, because it clocks in at a whopping $8.99. Yeah, $9 for this. Like, this is not a $9 game. This is a game I paid $5 tops. Even if I cared more about this puzzle type. So yeah, I really would suggest waiting for a sale on this one. Otherwise, if you like sliding block puzzles, you'll be in heaven here. Otherwise, the buyer beware. Right. Any additional comments or questions or concerns?
Not really from me.
Not particularly. I wonder if you have to use one to block for the other and then use the other one to block for the first one.
Well, it's the question of which one to do. Do you do the yellow or do you do the red?
Or do you have to do them both at the same time? Is what I mean. Possibly.
Like I said, and here's the other thing. This game just came out this past week, so this is maybe some other people have looked at this, but there's no guides as of yet. So you're gonna have to use your noodle to figure this out.
At least for now.
Yeah, that may be an additional selling point to people who really like puzzle games. People.
On the other hand, puzzle games, especially ones with achievements for solving things on Steam, tend to get guides fairly quickly. So,
right,
we'll see how that goes.
So anyway, like I said, it's a solid enough game. I don't think it's worth nearly $10. Right, so that'll about do it for Chromatic Fantasy here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as the Colics will be reviewing A Little Lily Princess.